My name's Wendy-Marie Martin. I am a business manager for a performing arts complex in California. I found out through a really good friend of mine actually who had asked me for a recommendation. She was applying to MFA programs in directing, and I had mentioned how I was a little jealous because I wanted to get my MFA for a number of years, but I couldn't manage a full-time program, and she said, oh, you have to check out Hollins. They have a low residency summer program. So I did, and the next 3 months later I was here. My first summer here blew my mind, and it was definitely more than anything I might have expected. I expected it to be intense. I didn't expect it to be just so collaborative, and I don't think I was aware of the fact that as important as the classes are and fantastic as the academic work was, that the networking and the relationships that I was building with my colleagues and with the guests that come here was just as important, and I wasn't aware of that part of the program until I got here. Every summer has just been amazing. Working with Bob Moss was fantastic. Not just in class, but all of our guests are so generous, and they take time outside of class and they give you their feedback and time and comments. And Bob did, in addition to teaching the Off Broadway Explosion class, which was fantastic because he was there and we would be reading quotes from him in our books, which was awesome. He also did a directing workshop that summer that I think really gave a lot of our writers a perspective on how important placement on stage is, and kind of getting a director's sense of when you're writing your play, which was fantastic. And working with Carl Hancock Rux last year, a solo performance, was just an experience I can't even explain. It was amazing. Bonnie Metzger is phenomenal, and just like this walking encyclopedia of knowledge. So, and then John Bergman for the performance class, bringing all of this actor training from a movement that doesn't exist as much in this country anymore, that's very creative and theatrical and kind of grassroots. That's really exciting work. Oh, I tell people all the time they have to come here. I tell people who aren't playwrights they should be playwrights so they can come here. This is just an absolutely phenomenal program, and it's not just for writers. A director can get something out of it, a dramaturg can get it, a theater teacher can get something out of it. It's just in my opinion, it's the epitome of the way theater should be done, as a collaborative, supportive, critical, but in a supportive way that's going to make people better writers. It doesn't rip people apart and then try to build them back up again. It takes everybody individually and builds on their strengths. So what we have here, which I find really unique and a strong asset of the program, is everybody has their own voice, and then you build on that voice and you add to your toolbox, but nobody's trying to make us all sound the same. And this program really celebrates the fact that we all have our individual voices. And I think that the festival, especially this year, was just a perfect example of the fact that every one of us is writing from a different perspective and a different style and different voice. So there's not really any competition. There's no reason for us not to support each other. This year we had this thing starting to form, which was Monday afternoon readings, and it tended to be the people who were not in lab and not in festival, and they initiated it themselves. But I thought that was a fantastic idea, and I think there's some students that want to kind of keep that going next year. And it's just so cool to be on a Monday afternoon when you could be doing laundry or home sleeping, and you come up to the studio and it's full of people ready to embrace their colleagues' work. So that, I think, really adds to the collaborative spirit. We also had the overnight sensation. That's cool because it's really more community members and business owners and sort of local celebrities than necessarily our writers. So it's this really cool mix of like our guests are directing and writing or performing. A couple of us are writing or performing or maybe directing, and then there's all of these community people. And then when you go to see the show, it's just like 200 or 300 people in the theater, all of them just super excited about new work. So. Yeah, we stole a lot from Overnight Sensations. 2 years ago, Todd was talking to us about how important it is to produce each other. And that these relationships that we're building are more than just critique partners or like a shoulder to cry on if you have a rejection letter, but that we actually can be an active part of each other's careers by creating opportunities to produce each other. I don't have a theater company of my own or a space of my own, so a full production wasn't very realistic. And that year I happened to be in Overnight Sensations, and I thought, this could be a really good way. It's a 24-hour commitment. It involves the community and it involves the university. This could be a really cool way for me to produce my colleagues' work. And it sort of percolated, and then last year when I came in and started talking to a couple of my colleagues that have theater companies and spaces and said, okay, this is a crazy idea, but what about a 24-hour play festival in 4 time zones that would allow us to exclusively produce our colleagues' work on one day in 4 different time zones. And we went home and we actually used the structure of Overnight Sensations as our baseline, and we sort of tweaked off of that as far as what each site could allow, and now it's developing into its own structure, and it's just growing every year, which is cool. So it's an opportunity for the writers who maybe aren't in lab and they're not in festival, and also those who are in lab and in festival, to commit to writing a short play every week. So you're making new work the whole time you're here, which is fantastic. Plus it involves the community. So like these community actors and community writers come in, and then you mix everybody up together, which I think is awesome. We get a chance through No Shame to get to know the local actors, so that if we do have a piece in lab or in a festival, it kind of gives us help with making a relationship with them and then casting them and working with them as actors, which is great, and directors, because a lot of the local people are one or the other or both.